Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful day in South Philly, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and we are heading to one of South Philly's most beloved, iconic institutions, John's Roast Pork. For 87 years, this place has been serving up incredibly juicy, delicious roast pork sandwiches, as well as the Philadelphia cheesesteak, which is probably the most famous sandwich to come out of this area. We're standing on what was traditionally a former industrial strip, close to the docks, home to a lot of truckers, a lot of working class people that would just come in for a quick lunch. But now it's an incredibly diverse area. A lot of people coming in, enjoying these delicious roast pork sandwiches. So let's see what people have been talking about for the past almost 90 years.
My grandfather, when he emigrated here in 1918, with literally clothes on his back and a recipe for roast pork and a recipe for meatballs. You know, he came here and he figured he'd do what he knew best. So he became one of the first caterers in Philadelphia. In the old days, they would have a small wedding and have the reception at the house, and he would bring his equipment. And he was running a wooden shack here on the ground we're standing on. We've grown over the years, but we still want to try to keep that family, mom and pop feel to it, which I think we do.
It wasn't always as popular as it was.
No, we literally had the same 50 to 60 customers every day. They'd come get their coffee in the morning, a small breakfast sandwich, a pork sandwich. You know, like I didn't even have to take their orders. They'd walk in the door and I knew what they wanted. Ever since the article in 2001 came out with these 4 high school kids that they made it their senior project to find the quote unquote ultimate cheesesteak. And we didn't know they were running it with the food critic with the Inquirer, who's very prestigious guy, Craig Levan. I was shocked because, again, we didn't know that this was for print.
Yeah.
And they were weighing the sandwiches. They were like measuring them.
Really
yeah,
pulling them apart?
Yeah, yeah.
And was that like a turning point as far as
it was
like
absolutely the turning point.
people noticing you
Yeah,
guys?
because we had a line out the door for a month or two.
Wow.
So many times now, we'll get people, they come right from the airport, and we're the first stop. Like we have the Liberty Bell Independence Hall, and they come here first.
Yeah.
It's so mind-boggling. It was August 11th, the article came out, so it was in the middle of the summertime. The first Friday, guy came in, guy passes out in line, right, in the building. And I'm like making cheesesteaks, and they're wheeling him out. He regained consciousness.
Right.
He's like, I want my cheesesteak,
Wow.
you know? So I said, dude, you're dying. Like, so what happened, that was before we were open on Saturdays.
Wow.
The following Monday, he was my first customer at 7 o'clock in the morning. I felt how I treated him. I was like,
you went to the emergency room and came right back.
So.
I've had almost every sandwich in this place, and everything's just phenomenal.
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
coming here for probably 5-6 years at least to
Oh,
this
wow.
spot. Yeah. Whenever I'm in town, I make sure to come to John's.
We're in South Philly. There's a lot of options.
Yes.
That you find you come here.
Right. You just can't get that top level cheesesteak and roast pork usually at the same place. You're usually going, one place has a good cheesesteak, one place has a good roast pork. This place has good everything. Top-notch quality. They have some of the best bread in the city. You know, their pork has great flavor. It's quick. They know what they're doing. Even if there's a line out the door, they move you right through here. They really just do everything the right way here. You can tell everything's made properly and made with care.
I understand you're a big Patriots fan. Is that?
Oh, absolutely. Woohoo! No.
No. Eagles fan, I would assume.
Absolutely. I used to be a season ticket holder for 9 years.
All right. What is it about this place that you think is particularly good?
There's something about the seasoning. It's not like hit you in the face kind of seasoning. It's subtle, but it's just so in depth. And the pork is just so, you know, they cook them, then they let them sit.
Yeah.
And then they slice them the next day and put it back in the juice.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't get dried out, it doesn't break down. It's just cooked perfectly and holds it, and then it's right on the good seeded roll, which is key, and the extra sharp provolone. It's just those 3 marrying together is the best. Yeah.
Let me just get 1 pork sandwich and 1 cheesesteak.
And your first name is?
My name is Lucas.
Lucas, and you could slide down to the next station for your pork.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, very much.
Why don't we roll out this cheesesteak? Look at this beauty. This is a good cheesesteak. They make it all to order. They don't have a mountain of meat and a mountain of onions that they are shipping off of throughout the day. The food's gonna be hot and fresh. You've got this nice crusty outside that yields to a chewy center. The sesame seeds I really love. You've got these onions that give it that sharpness. It's like a little sting. You've got this nice cut of pretty thinly sliced steak. I mean, look, are we getting prime rib in a cheesesteak? No, not necessarily the point. You want it for that beefy, salty, little charred bits. You want that kind of goodness, you know, prepared on that flat top grill. And then, of course, the cheese. The cheese is like the conductor of the symphony. And it's American cheese, so it's processed like Cheese Whiz, but it's not quite as plasticky. It's just like a nice, goopy saltiness. This is very good. That's a great steak. Let's put this aside. Let's go to the roast pork. The typical topping you'll see on a roast pork sandwich is the broccoli rabe or rapini. That's like a bitter vegetable that's like in the bok choy family. So the spinach is not gonna have quite as much of a presence in the sandwich. And we're gonna see how it goes, but this is the roast pork. This is it. Like, I'm not here to do a value judgment, but this is the thing to get. I would take this over a steak any day of the week. I'll tell you why. There's just a lot more going on. Number one, I love a messy sandwich. I love a soggy sandwich. And with this, because it's been sitting in so much juice and because it's just dripping, it gets through that bread, makes it nice and soggy. You get that contrast. Regular sandwich bread that slowly becomes thinner and drippier as you get to the bottom, and then the bottom is just soaked with that porky juice. The roast pork, as John was saying, his grandfather's recipe from southern Italy. Lots of herbs, lots of spices, and then shoved in the oven, baked for a few hours, sliced, put in its own jus, and then it sits there and it just kind of marinates there. And we've got this nice sharp provolone. It's so good on a sandwich. It's a deep, rich, sharp cheese flavor. It has so much more character than just a mild American cheese. It's just such a strong, funky, pungent, powerful cheese that I really, really like in this. And then the spinach. Spinach is great. It's a different animal. I like rapini a lot because it's nice to have sort of a powerful, bitter vegetable, especially when you have something really salty and fatty. I'm gonna say spinach, more of a team player. Doesn't want to stand out. A little bit of a wallflower. Spinach is just gonna lay back, just do its thing. So it's a nice compliment. This sandwich as a whole, super good. The cheesesteak is the icon in Philly, especially in South Philly. I don't see that ever changing. But the roast pork is a better sandwich. It's gonna put it out there. It's a superior sandwich in just taste and construct and how all the flavors bounce together. And obviously here at John's, they're proud of both sandwiches, which I totally understand. But it is called at the end of the day, John's Roast Pork. And I think that's for a good reason. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you really enjoyed this episode of Dining on a Dime from John's Roast Pork in South Philly, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. If you'd like to watch more, please click here.